What's going on, guys? Welcome to the first installment of a Dunkers podcast. The point of this podcast is to spread the word about the dunking community because, in case you didn't know, there's actually a community of people that get together and train to only put a ball through a hoop in a vicious way. Also, we want to help eliminate the inefficiencies in dunking contests because they are just absolutely horrendous. Looking at you, D Wade. Also, we just also want to let everybody know that this is a community that you can be a part of. It's not just these genetic freaks that are able to do this. Anybody can get into this community. That's the whole point of this. On top of that, we want to allow you guys to get to know the dunkers that you see on your For You page. So for today's guest, I have the one and only Travis Dunks. He is somebody in the dunk community that has made a ton of progress in a short amount of time after he got to the dunking point, which is just wild. But I'm going to go ahead and let him kind of introduce himself and tell you guys who he is.
All right. My name's Travis, and honestly, there's not a whole lot to tell. I literally just dunk basketballs. I play video games, and that's that's honestly about it, man. I
That's
just, I just spend a lot of time dunking. I guess I don't know.
that's all you need,
Short
man.
and simple, to be honest.
Short and simple. That's all you need. Okay, so I guess with the first question, um, what was your first dunk like? Like if you could describe your first dunk in as much detail as you can, and I mean like what was the day like if you remember it? What was the day like? How did the day go afterwards?
Yeah,
What kind of dunk? What you did to get to that first dunk, just as much information as you can give.
dude. Here's the thing. When I think of my first dunk, I have three that come to mind because one of them I went off one, and it like I put it in and it kind of like rattled in and down. So I was like, it kind of counts as a dunk, but it's not like the flush that you want. And when I'm going for my first dunk, I'd rather it be like a punch. You know what I mean? Like put it down, make sure it's a dunk. So I don't know if I really count that one. It's one of them. And then another first dunk I can think of was at this basketball camp. And here's the thing. I know my YMCA is 10 feet exactly, and I could not dunk there at this time. And I was at this basketball camp, dude. And I was just putting them down. So I was like, this could be my first dunk. And then like right after that, like a week later, I actually did dunk at the YMCA, and I do remember it because it was like a super clean dunk. So at this basketball camp, I was like palming the ball and I was putting it in, and obviously I would get way higher off a lob, and I just couldn't do that at the Y yet. But one day at the Y, I was just feeling really good. I threw up a lob and I caught it like, oh, I guess I can't put my arms up. It goes out of frame. But I threw the lob up, went right above the rim, and I just flushed it down perfectly. And at that point, I'm like, okay, that's a dunk. That's the definition of a dunk. It's 10 feet, and I punched it. So super happy with that. Um, as far as the day goes, do I remember the day? I, I don't remember the day, but I remember like being in the gym that day. It was me and my friends. Ben, he's a dunker now, and my
Yeah.
friend Brett at the time, and we were just playing pickup. And I think they were playing like 1v1 on the other side, and they were wanting me to play some basketball. But being the dunker I am, I'm just like, nah, dude, I'm gonna I'm gonna keep dunking. And so I was just over there spamming dunks as much as I could until I got my first one, and I think that's it. I think that sums it up.
Gotcha. See, I would have been the same way about the dunk kind of like rattling in and being like, I don't know if I want to count that. Like that
Hmm.
doesn't really count. I would have been the same way. I actually don't even remember my first dunk. I don't remember a single thing about it. I don't have it on video. I just try and find the earliest video of me dunking that I can and just be like, yeah, that was my first dunk.
Yeah. And here's the thing. Here's another reason why I don't really want to count a rattler. Because like if I'm jumping high enough to do a rattler, I'm obviously gonna start jumping higher like very soon at that specific level. So it's like, why count the rattler when you're gonna start jumping like an inch or so higher in like a couple of weeks maybe, or however long it is. So you're gonna get a clean one eventually. Might as well, count the clean one when you get it.
Yeah, that's true. But
Yeah.
what kind of training were you doing to help you get to that point?
Dude, at that time, it was literally just jumping every single day because during that time period, my knees were invincible, and I
Hmm.
also didn't require a warm up at that age. So it's literally just I would jump as much as possible. If I see something high out in public, I'd try to touch it. I guess I was in school at this time. I'd just jump like as much as I could during school. Like literally, this was during the stage where I was invincible, so I could just jump as much as possible, and that's just kind of what I did all the way from like age 11 or 12. That's literally all I did.
And that's how a lot of us started out, was just jumping. Because
I think it's the oh yeah, you can go ahead.
I was just gonna say that I did weight training because my first dunk was when I was in high school, but
Yeah.
I was doing just regular basketball weight training, which wasn't even specific in the first place. So I just always got obsessed with just trying to. It started out for me just seeing between me and my friend, because we could both jump a little bit. It was
Mm-hmm.
who could grab the rim the best, and then
Mm-hmm.
it just slowly evolved into just who could get their first dunk and who could dunk better. So I just always did a bunch of jumping.
No, I can relate to that. I have like a similar experience, but yeah, all I was gonna say is I think just jumping as much as possible while you're able to without any injuries and stuff is just the best way to start out because you get those reps in and I don't know exactly how Isaiah says it, but he's always talking about like what is it, like the 10,000 hour rule or something, or the law of specificity. It's like both of
Yeah.
those combined. Just the more you do something, the better you're going to be at it. So if you can get all those reps in at an early age, then it's just going to be better for you.
Yeah. And my issue was usually people will run into the knee pain like after they've went through that time period of having no injuries. But I
Hmm.
got the knee pain like immediately as I
Oh no.
started to jump more. So that's why when I was in high school, I wasn't able to do any like crazy dunks. My coach actually used to make fun of me.
Oh
My
no.
own basketball coach. He used to tell me that I do all these Vince Carter dunks in practice and then don't do anything in a game. So that was cool.
I mean, that's literally just me my whole life, dude. I'm doing all these trick dunks, but basketball, I can't do nothing. Like I can't shoot, can't make a left-handed layup, can't do
Yeah,
nothing.
but that's fine though. You at least got that one thing. You got dunking, and a lot of people
Yeah.
can't do that. It's like a very like small percentage of people that can dunk. So
Hmm.
it is what it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah. But no, I always laugh at myself because like the other day I hit a J Rich with my left hand, so that's like between the legs. And I'm like, I can do between the legs with my left hand. But if you tell me to do a left-handed layup, it's like it's gonna look like I'm throwing like an alley oop off the backboard. Like it's
Dude.
just gonna not be good, not
Oh,
pretty.
yeah. And when I do them too, I have to concentrate as hard as I can just to get the steps that you're supposed to take. That's
Hmm.
coordinated with the left hand, right? And it's I don't know. And I dunk predominantly just with my left hand, which is
Hmm.
wild, but I can't barely do a left-handed layup. But
Yep.
so
Dunking's
go
just better. Just
oh,
better.
100%.
Just dunk it.
Need to make that as a shirt.
Hmm.
Just dunk it.
I agree.
Uh,
I'd wear it.
but as far as like getting into the dunking community and just like getting the motivation to start dunking in the first place, who was somebody that inspired you to do that?
Here's the thing. There's two guys that come to mind. Well, I guess technically three, and this other guy is not even like a pro dunker or anything. So I'm trying to think which came first. I'm trying to like think of a timeline in my head. Mm, all right, so I don't know exactly which one came first, but I'll just spill the beans all over the place. So I will say the first two dunkers I ever saw in the dunk community was Isaiah Rivera and Jonathan Clark. I think I technically saw Jay Clark first on some Dunkademics post. Like, oh wait, oh I do know which one came first. Okay, no, I do know now. So the first time I ever like really started to appreciate dunking was at a middle school basketball game. At my middle school, we had this eighth grader. His name was Cordell, and the dude could dunk in eighth grade. He would like tomahawk, hang on the rim, stuff like that. And I still liked jumping before I got into dunking. So seeing that, I'm like, how's it even possible? Like, I'm like, this dude's like two grades above me, and he's doing like crazy dunks like this. So that got me into dunking. And then I started going through like the hashtags on Instagram, like hashtag dunk, hashtag first dunk, stuff like that. And then I found like dunkers like Isaiah and Jay Clark. And from there, I'm like, this is something that people can actually do. It's possible. And from that point forward, I just really fell in love with dunking, and I started dunking on 8 feet, and I slowly worked my way up.
Sir, see,
Mm.
I'm a Stephen Selly guy. I start off
Oh
with
yeah.
Stephen Selly,
Mm-hmm.
which, by the way, if you guys don't know who any of these guys are, look them up. Jonathan Clark, Isaiah Rivera, and Stephen Selly. Some legends in the dunk community. Please
Mm.
look them up. Um, but yeah, Stephen Selly basically inspired all the things that I do now. Like he was that I
Dunk
always
life,
saw.
baby.
Oh yeah, Dunk Life. I was so hyped when I got one of his shirts and
Mm-hmm.
tagged him in it. He even put me in his YouTube video. I was so happy. But
It's awesome.
because I always saw highlights of people dunking, but then he was the one person that really showed me that for one, anybody can do it, and two, to like fall in love with the process of doing it. And it was just something I looked up to and still look up to this day. But okay, so you're dunking now. After your first dunk, you're dunking. You're getting better and better. What is a dunk that made you realize, like, hey, I'm kind of good, or like I'm above average.
Mm-hmm.
What was that dunk?
I actually love this question because like at the time I made it, I was literally thinking like the exact same thing. And the answer is just behind the back. And here's my reasoning for it. Anyone who tries it behind the back for the first time, 9 times out of 10, it's gonna be the most awkward feeling thing ever. It's like I've seen guys with insane bounce, like they're doing like head at rim dunks. They try behind the back, they can't do it. It's like super technical. So in 2020, before I made behind the back, I was just doing like tomahawks, windmills, stuff like that. But there was nothing that really separates me from just guys who can jump high and dunk good. You know what I mean? So the whole year I was just training to hit it behind the back. And once I hit that, I'm like, okay, I think I'm like actually somewhat of a dunker now because I have a dunk that's a lot more rare than just windmills and tomahawks and stuff like that. So that was kind of the first dunk that I hit where I'm like, okay, I think I can call myself a dunker officially now. I'm not just some guy who's able to jump decently high and can windmill and stuff.
Yeah. For me, it was an East Bay. I kept telling myself as soon as I hit an East Bay, like I'm gonna be up there, and
Dude,
people are gonna
I
be
couldn't
like,
East Bay at the time.
"Oh, really?" But you could do it.
I
Well,
I got my behind the back first.
yeah, I do think behind the back is going to be more technical, and for an
Definitely.
East Bay, you have to jump higher. Because
Mm-hmm.
I can't do it behind the back. Like I was trying to get this past Saturday. I was getting close, but I can't. I'll make it every like 2 months.
Oh, I
Like,
was about to say, I'm like, I swear you've behind the back before.
yeah,
I gotta look at some of your videos of that. I'm gonna help you make that more often.
I think I've made it in total maybe 4 times. I hit my first behind the back, and then I hit my first behind the back off of a lob. I hit it off of a lob again, and then my fourth one was probably 2 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm not good at them. I don't have the
Interesting.
technique.
Now I'm gonna look at that because you absolutely fly. Like you can definitely
I appreciate
you
it.
can definitely start punching them.
I just want to get to where I can do them like cuffed. I want to get to where I can do every single dunk that is possible cuffed.
Mm-hmm.
That is my goal. I want to hit every dunk cuffed.
Mm-hmm. No, dude, I love watching you off the cuff. Like whenever like a lot of times when I think of you specifically dunking, it was at this like old gym you used to go to, and you did like this cuff windmill, and your head was like by the rim. You just absolutely took off and punched it.
Oh man, I gotta get this back healthy. It's getting better, by the way, because I know we talked
Mm-hmm.
about it recently, but I just can't wait to get back fully jumping like I was before.
Mm-hmm. No, I'm excited for that too. I wanna see some more frosty dunks.
Yes, sir. Okay, so then with that dunk that kind of made you realize you were, him. What is a dunk that you want to hit so badly. Like if you could hit it without any repercussions, and okay, let me phrase it like this, because obviously like a tomahawk 360 under both would be a pretty easy answer, you know? Something that's within your reach right now that you want to hit really bad.
It's very similar to the last one. I want to do it behind the back, but I want to elbow it and hang because last year, wait, I'm pretty sure I got a Snapchat memory from like 1 year ago today, and I think I did the behind the back elbow that day, but I didn't hang. And I'm personally not going to count that until I hang because in my eyes, when you want to do an elbow dunk, I'm not going to count it until you hang because that's like the whole point of an elbow dunk in my opinion. Now, I think it's a little different if you're doing it like off one or something because sometimes hanging off one is just super dangerous for elbows. But
Terrifying.
me personally, dude, like my type of jumping off too, I jump really straight up. I don't have a ton of speed, and my penultimate's super short, so it's literally just like straight up pretty much. So I'm like, I literally have the build to elbow. Like I just go straight up. There's no momentum that's gonna pull me out of it. So I wanna get it with the hang. I can't believe I didn't get it that day. Like I literally like most of my arm went straight in and it just went right back out. I'm like, oh, you gotta be kidding me. But now that's one of my holy grail dunks. That's one of the dunks I've like always wanted to hit, and hopefully I can make it sometime this year. But yeah, I think that's the dunk. It's one of my all-time favorite dunks, and I want to do it.
Gotcha. Well, I guess my elbow dunks don't count to you. Um, it's mostly because I'm terrified. Like I overthink things. I'm not even worried about my arm when I do an elbow dunk. I'm worried that I'm going to break the rim and I'm never going to be able to use that gym again.
Nah, dude, like that's never gonna happen. Cause like I've seen you do some. Okay, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think I'm making this up. Like I've seen you do some tomahawks and like you can really like abuse the rim, right?
Oh yeah,
Dude, an elbow dunk, it's not even like the same as that. The elbow dunk, it just goes right in and hangs. It's pretty much the same thing as just like grabbing it with one hand. You know what I mean?
I
Because it's just
mean,
like you like grab the rim and your weight pulls it down. You grab the rim and your weight pulls it down. You know what I mean?
I guess you're right. I don't know. Like I said, I overthink it, and that's another thing that I want to get back to doing is doing an elbow dunk. Like the last time I did it, it was completely unexpected. I was going for just a
Yeah.
cuffed windmill, and then my arm
Oh, I
went in the
remember that.
rim,
Yeah, I remember that.
and I was
Oh,
just so confused. I was like, "How did I even jump that high to do that?" But
mm-hmm. That's a tough one right there. But no, let me rephrase that. Like no, it definitely counts if you elbow and pull it back out. But like me personally, like I want to hang because like
yeah,
one of my favorite things in dunking is hanging on the rim. So like me personally, I'm not gonna be done with the dunk until I hang because I'm like it's right there. I want to do it. Like I have
yeah.
to.
That's fair. I think
Hmm.
that's a fair way to count it, or at least it's kind of like the whole like your first dunk rattled in the rim kind of thing. You know, like you
Hmm.
can count it, but like you kind of don't want to because you want to make it in the most like I guess clean way that you can. So
Hmm. No, exactly.
all right. So let's see here. So where do you want dunking to take you? Like is dunking going to just be something that you do until you literally can't jump anymore? Do you want to get on that level of being a professional dunker, or do you want to just keep it to just content creating in general? Like where do you want dunking to take you?
Hmm. Definitely one of the first things you said where I just want to dunk until I can't anymore. Um, like I've thought about this question before, but honestly, I don't know. Because like obviously it would be nice to be on like a high professional level because and I've always kind of wanted to do that, but at the end of the day, I literally just dunk for me. Like one of my favorite thing in the world is just like finding a dunk that I haven't hit yet and then training to hit said dunk because like in my eyes, dude, for me dunking, like obviously I love it, but it's also just like an opportunity to like get better and improve yourself a little bit. So it's like I find the dunk I suck at and I get to work on myself until I'm good at that motion, good at that dunk. It takes problem solving skills to kind of figure out what's going on with it. So at the end of the day, I just love dunking for that reason. Like I literally just want to hit as many dunks as possible. And um, at the end of the day, like wherever dunking takes me as a byproduct of that, then I'm happy with that. I guess that's pretty much my answer. I'm just going wherever the wind takes me, pretty much.
Yeah. Which I mean, to be fair, when you don't have those small little injuries, I already think you're on a professional level. Like, just to be honest with you, like the
Thank
behind
you.
the backs, the how clean and how much you absolutely punch behind the backs is so disgusting to me every time it pops up on my feed. And
Thank you.
it makes me want to try behind the backs because like I don't it's hard for me sometimes to just punch a windmill and you're punching behind the backs just with ease, you know.
That's my favorite dunk.
Oh, what's going on? We may have to resume the call. I think it has a time limit.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, yeah, we
Yeah,
can do that.
so I'll just like
Oh, it says
five.
remaining meeting time. Oh yeah, 9 minutes and 45 seconds left.
Oh, okay, it's counting down. Okay, okay. All right. I thought it was about to end at 10 minutes. Anyway,
Oh no, we got some time left. And
okay.
then if we're still running, then we can definitely run it back.
Oh yeah. Now all these apps wanting you to buy extra stuff. God.
Mm-hmm. Gotta have
Anyway,
money.
okay. So next question. What is your solution to the NBA dunk contest? Because it is never consistent. Um, Really, they get bad dunkers in there, like this past one. The fact that what Jaylen Brown did a dunk with his left hand, and the context behind it was he doesn't use his left hand, and he got like a 47 or something. That almost made me vomit. Like that is just
Dude,
terrible.
dude, that is exactly right. I was when we were watching this contest this year, it was like a big watch party. We had like a bunch of dunkers in town.
Yeah,
And we were watching that and we were just disgusted. We were like, what we're like, what's happening? We're like, who is it? Jacob Toppin? Is that his name?
yeah, yeah,
We're like,
yeah,
he just did a reverse 360 East Bay with two hands, first try. I'm pretty sure it was first try. Killed it, crushed it, and he loses to like a basic windmill. We're like we were just kind of shocked. Um, I mean, for the NBA dunk contest, I think one of the main solutions would be just more experienced judges.
yeah,
And I don't know if they'd ever put pro dunkers in there because, like, I know the NBA likes their like celebrity judges, the well-known figures to judge the dunk contest and whatnot. But literally, it just needs more experienced people judging that know exactly like how hard the dunk is and what exactly it takes to make that dunk. Because there's just no reality where reverse 360s, they have two hands, loses to a windmill. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
There's no
Like
way.
we just need better judges for the NBA dunk contest. Like that's all it is. Because um, like Jacob Toppin had an insane dunk plan for his final dunk, and he lost to a windmill. It's like, come on. Like we could have
Yeah,
had like one of the greatest dunk contest dunks ever, and it's just like, okay, goodbye. And we have to wait until next year to see if he tries it again.
yeah, and it's wild. And the only thing that saved this dunk contest was, I mean, Mac McClung. Like, and even then, Mac McClung did good, but I still feel like the dunk contest could have been better overall.
Mm-hmm.
Like this dunk contest with Mac McClung versus the last one, he did way better in the last one, in my opinion. Like he did do a
Mm-hmm.
new dunk this year, but I mean, like, I don't know. I feel like it could have been better. I do think getting the pro dunkers to be judges would not take any effort at all. You can
Mm-hmm.
advertise why they're the judges in the first place pretty easily, and then we can have more fair judging of contests, and that way we can still have it as an NBA dunk contest where we're showing off NBA players and their bounce. But
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if we're ever going to get to that point. I hope so. That's kind of one of the reasons of this podcast to spread the word about the community, let everybody
Mm-hmm.
know like, hey, we're here, we can help the NBA out, just stuff like that. I hope we can get it figured out soon.
Yeah, because those NBA guys, they are capable of some crazy dunks, dude. Like they
Yes.
they are like the NBA players are like the freak of the freaks. You know what I mean? Like Jacob Toppin's like I don't know how tall he is, but he's like 8'9", something like that. Insane balance. So like, dude, whatever he tries, he's gonna destroy it. It's gonna look nasty. We just need these guys to be able to kind of show what they're capable of without getting robbed by like a windmill. Or that dunk where like Jalen Brown just jumped over like the guy sitting down in the chair
Kai
and just did a
Cenat.
one-hander. It's like, oh, there's just so much more that could be done here, I
They
guess.
take storylines and context way too far in the NBA dunk contest, like way
Hmm.
too far. Like I didn't even know people said that Jalen Brown doesn't use his left hand. I had no clue.
No, yeah, dude. I just want to see crazy dunks. That's all
Yeah,
I want to see at the end of the day.
I think it would be good to have like a little mini dunk contest during like not halftime, but like before the contest. Just to show off what dunking can be. But
Hmm.
I can also see why that might take the shine away from the NBA players too. There's a way to balance it, and we'll figure it out at some point. I hope.
Yeah, I hope so. Because, like I said, they're just capable of so much, and I just want to see them kind of achieve that.
Yeah. Um, okay, so who's your favorite pro dunker to watch, and who's your favorite amateur dunker to watch?
I don't know if it's physically possible for me to pick a favorite pro. Like I really don't. Like I've been asked this so many times, and like I think about it quite frequently, and I don't know because like there's just so many guys I love watching. Like obviously I love watching Jordan Kilgannon because he's always doing something new, and he's just insane to watch. His style's insane. He jumps really high. Same thing can be said about Isaiah. Dude jumps really high, punches dunks. Like they're like all these pros are so much fun to watch. I don't know if I could like really just straight up pick one over the other because they all have these like attributes that kind of separate themselves from each other in a way. Like I don't know, they're all amazing to watch, really. So I don't know. Like as much as I hate to admit it, even Dan, like I dunk with Dan like quite frequently, and he's a lot of fun to watch. He jumps really high, and he's one of the only guys that I know that like will punch every single dunk he does. Even if it's a dunk he's hitting for the first time, it's getting absolutely destroyed. So it's like I don't know how to pick. Like I just like watching dunks, dude. Um, as far as my favorite amateur guy goes, I don't know if I can consider Donovan Hawkins an amateur guy. Like he's an absolute specimen. I think he's a pro, so I'm not gonna say him. But one of my favorite upcoming guys right now, I would say, is Mason. I don't know his last name. Mason. It's Mason B. Duncan from the Utah squad.
Oh
He's
yes,
he's nasty. He's gonna be insanely good pretty soon.
yeah,
Lot of fun to watch. Just punches all of his dunks, and yeah, he's gonna be capable of a lot. He's got that dunker build. He's got like
oh
that
yeah,
like nice standing reach. He's got the height. He's gonna be a specimen before long.
oh gonna be. He's already a
No,
specimen.
yeah, he's
Like
already a specimen, but like
God,
he's gonna go beyond that pretty soon, I think. So he's a lot of
yeah,
fun to watch. So I think I'll pick him.
yeah, and
And he just popped up out of nowhere too. Like he just like spawned in last year.
yeah, like him and the whole Utah squad. Like they came out of nowhere. I saw John post about them one time, and now they're all over my feed. And I had no clue that they were even a thing. But
Hmm.
um, yeah, he is nasty. And Donovan Hawkins, God, he reminds me of like Dan. Like I
Oh
think
yeah,
him
yeah.
and Dan are like the same kind of breed. It's just Dan is
They're
more
hmm
experienced with it.
Yeah. No, yeah, I guess I said Dan's one of the only guy I know that punches literally every single dunk he makes. Like a lot of pros will punch dunks, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
But these guys will punch literally every single dunk they do, like insanely hard. Like Donovan
yeah,
Hawkins did like the best under both I've ever seen at dunk camp last year in Texas. Like like he punched it so hard, you would think he was just trying to do a one-hander and punch it as hard as he can, but he did an under both and just punched the daylights out of it. Like it's just so fun to watch power dunkers like that.
yeah, yeah. I love watching both
Unreal.
of them, and
Hmm.
God, I can't wait to see like how much they improve going forward because they're both still
Hmm.
young. Like Dan is like
Dude,
what?
Donovan's like 20, 21. Like
God,
he's really young.
Here, I'm gonna have to end this real quick and
Oh
have
yeah.
to call you back, and it's gonna suck because I don't have my Instagram pulled up on my laptop to just send you the link, so I have to fully type it out.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
So
good luck with that.
yeah, so we'll be right back.
All right.
Okay, we're back. After Zoom was being difficult. Don't buy the premium version of Zoom just because of this. But anyway, so the next question I had was why should people take interest in the dunking community?
That's a good question. I mean, obviously, it's like an extremely supportive place. Like, if you come here, no matter what skill level you're at, you're going to find a support group, a group of friends who's going to kind of hype you up and kind of help not only like push you to get higher, but like they're going to be able to help you make those improvements as well, like telling you what to do, what to fix, what they would do. It's just like a great little place to just learn and be better in. You know what I mean? Because like one of the most important things when you do anything in life is having like a support group most of the time. Like it helps so much to have other people who share the same goals as you, who want the same thing, and to be able to kind of just talk to anyone and everyone about that. It's going to help tremendously opposed to just doing it entirely yourself. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's just a great group of people.
Yeah, and like he said, no matter what your skill level is, there's actually a bunch of people in the community that just dunk on rims that are lower than 10 feet.
Hmm.
And we all support everybody, whether you're dunking on 10 feet, 8 feet, 9 feet. It's a big supportive community. Anybody can get involved. And the chances are these, even the guys that dunk on low rims, after a certain amount of time from them just dunking on the low rims, they're probably going to get to the point where they can dunk on a 10-foot rim. So it's like if you're worried
Yeah.
about not being um I guess looked at as this amazing dunker because you're dunking on a low rim. Like it's part of the process. Like you'll probably get to that point. Like dunking in itself is achievable for anybody. Now the actual skill level that you reach with dunking ultimately depends on you and how much work you put in. But dunking, I think, is absolutely possible for anybody.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people in the dunking community think the same way. So if you've been kind of hesitant about trying to dunk. Maybe you get out of high school and you didn't really, make it into college for any sports team, but maybe you've always been able to jump a little bit and dunking is something you want to explore. Like go for it. Like I'm telling you, it is so much fun. It is so rewarding after you hit a dunk that you've been trying to hit for so long. The community is so supportive. Just give it a try. And even if you don't get into it yourself, I promise you that it is very entertaining to watch everybody else. It is very
Mm-hmm.
entertaining.
Yeah. And hey, we all start somewhere. Like if you scroll down my account to the very beginning, it's me dunking on 8 feet. Then I eventually just keep getting higher and higher as I kind of get taller and stuff. Like it's just, I don't know. We all start somewhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I've talked about it once and I need to make another actual video about it. How I actually got to the point that I'm at now of dunking is all because I dunked on a lower rim growing up without knowing it was a lower rim.
Mm-hmm.
Like the rim outside of my house was actually 9 foot two, and you would think it's pretty obvious 9 foot two compared to 10 feet, but I had
Mm-hmm.
I had no clue because my goal was at the bottom of a hill, so I thought it was just like it being slanted. But I would go home and I would practice dunking. I would practice like windmills, dunks that I'd never hit, and as soon as I hit it on the rim at home, it gave me the confidence to go to the gym at school and go after the same dunk, and I would start hitting those dunks at the school too. Like I would hit the windmill at home and then I would hit the windmill at the school. And it
Mm-hmm.
wasn't until I got my first e-spade that I was like, okay, I should measure this rim and see, how low this actually is. And I found out it was 9.2.
Mm-hmm.
So it was kind of like a one of those hitting blessings that it just gave me the confidence to go after these dunks because I thought it was 10 feet, or I at least thought it was 11 or 9-11 or something. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, absolutely. Just get into the community. It's awesome.
Great place to be.
So do you have any tips for people who do want to get into the community and they're trying to get that first dunk? Do you have any tips for them?
I mean, as far as getting into the community, literally just um, you can just start posting on your Instagram account. You can make a new Instagram account specifically for dunking, and um, I guess to like really get into the community and know everybody, like if you're literally just starting and you have that account, just like go find a dunker, and chances are they're following like every other dunker. Just go through their following and just follow everybody, and they'll probably follow you back, and you can get to know them and whatnot. Now, as far as getting your first dunk, um, there is actually some things to say about this because a lot of guys when they're trying to get their first dunk, um, I don't know how to actually word this. Like most of the time when you see a guy trying to get his first dunk, he's either throwing the ball like way too high, so he's like catching it. Do I have a ball? Nope. He's like catching it like on top of his fingertips, like up here instead of like right here, or like just more down the palm anyways. Because most of the time if they throw it too high, they're just gonna like smack the ball into the back of the rim, throw it off the backboard, stuff like that. That's what I used to do. And on top of that, guys are just trying to dunk it way too hard for their first dunk.
Yeah.
I mean, I was definitely guilty of that. I wanted my first dunk to be an absolute hammer, so I would sling it down as hard as I can. I would miss and I'd grab rim because I'm like, oh, it looks more impressive that way. Literally, for your first dunk, you just need to get the lob right over like the top of the rim. Like if this is the rim, the ball needs to be like right around here at its like absolute peak. So assuming you're touching like 10-5 or something, you can like get your hands over and just kind of put it in. Because most of the time, 9 times out of 10, your first dunk's not going to be anything absolutely crazy. Does it happen? Yeah, I've seen some pretty insane first dunks, but you just gotta put it in. Because like I said in the beginning of the podcast, like you're gonna be jumping higher soon regardless. You're not gonna stay at that same level forever, 9 times out of 10. So just focus on getting that dunk down. And once you're jumping a little higher, try to punch it as hard as you can. You know what I mean? Um, Now as far as how to get that lob above the rim, if you can lob it yourself, do a self lob and get it over the rim, that's great. But a lot of guys I've seen have better luck getting like their friend or someone to lob it just over the rim because like at that point, all you have to do is focus on the jump. The lob is gonna be there. Your friend's gonna put it there. You don't have to worry about throwing it, timing it, or anything like that. You literally just have to focus on jumping as high as you can. And yeah, as far as getting your first dunk, I think that's everything. I don't think I'm leaving anything out there. Just jump high, dunk ball.
Yeah, pretty much. And, just worrying about just getting the dunk in general, it happens every time. And the biggest example that I have for what I'm about to say is Dylan Hagen. I think that's how you say his last name, or
Hagen,
Hagen.
Hagen, yeah, something like that. I don't know how to say it.
When you get that first dunk, it becomes like, at least from what I've seen, 10 times easier, like right after that point. Like it's
hmm
wild. Like just with dunks in general, like if you windmill for the first time, you're gonna start windmilling more consistently, like pretty soon after that. Dylan Hagen or Hagen, I don't know how to say his name. If he's watching this, I'm so sorry. When he got his first East Bay, it's like it opened up a new door for him because he's already hit like maybe 5 or 6 more East Bays and he's like punching them. And it's
Yeah.
so wild to me.
It's cause like after you do something for the first time, like you unlock it in your brain, you
Yes.
learn exactly what it feels like to make it instead of miss it. So you know how to chase that exact same sensation every single time. And yeah, it just helps a lot. Like I don't know if I can think of a specific dunk off the top of my head that was like that, where after I made it, I was like, oh, but it happens a lot. Like the second you make something, you're like, oh, that's how you do it. And then you do it more often.
Yeah, 100%. I was that way with an East Bay. I made my first East Bay, and then after that, it was just I just kept making them. My technique was perfect. It's
hmm
just like a chain of events, or yeah, I think that's the right saying. I don't
No,
know.
yeah. I think the same thing happened to my first East Bay because like 3 or 4 sessions leading up to my first East Bay, it was just nothing but back rims. And I think the very next session after my first East Bay, if not the session after that, I made another one. And it was just like it just started happening more often. Like I just learned how to do it. It's not like I was jumping any higher in that short of a time span. I just learned what it felt like to throw the lob to make it all that stuff.
Yeah. And what you'll understand or what you'll begin to realize as you guys watch, hopefully watch these podcasts more and get to know these different dunkers, is dunking is a very big mental thing. It is extremely mental, from the technique, the sensations that you feel, and remembering that as you go for these dunks, like he said, and really anything you do in life is mental. It starts with the brain. It starts with the mentality. So
Hmm.
but dunking specifically, I have to convince myself when I'm going for like a behind the back. When I was trying behind the back on Saturday, I had to convince myself, like, hey, I'm probably going to jump high enough to do this. I have to focus on the actual technique. Because what I do a lot of times, and what a lot of other dunkers do, is they'll focus so much on jumping high that they're not coordinated enough to worry about the technique.
Hmm.
And then that's where you start to separate the pros from like the amateurs, because like Isaiah, his coordination is out of this world. Like I can't even begin to imagine how to do some of the dunks that he's done. Like his 360, I don't even know what it's called, but the one where he throws it under his leg.
Oh, the 360 kamikaze. Yeah,
Yes.
he like puts backspin on the ball and it like
Yes.
perfectly makes the ball drop. And oh yeah, that's
Dude,
a beautiful one.
I couldn't even think about making that on a little like door basketball hoop. Like I
Hmm.
cannot, I do not have the coordination for that. So that's why I say that
Hmm.
dunking
Technique
is,
is so important.
yes, it is extremely mental, but the more you practice it, obviously the easier it will get. Um, but that was really my last question. Do you have anything you want to tell the viewers before we head out?
Um, I guess I'll make a quick comment on what you just said about how like technique's very important. Like obviously you want to jump high, but like technique is also like just as important, I think, because like recently for the past like how long? For the last like 6 months, I've gotten significantly worse at behind the back, and I just now fixed it because a while ago, like I had it down to like a science a while ago, and then I went through some periods of injuries and stuff like that, and like I forgot what the rhythm for making the dunk felt like, so I came back in and I was trying way too hard, focusing on just jumping high on it. Like I was doing my self bounce, I was catching it really high, which is not what I'm really wanting to do there. And I'm like, dude, I'm terrible at this dunk now. Like I was jumping high still, but like I just couldn't make it how I used to. And then like a few sessions ago, I had an epiphany. I tried like a more controlled bounce where I would focus more on the technique opposed to jumping high. And it felt like just how it used to, if not even better. So I'm like, oh, I was literally just not focusing on the technique.
Yeah.
Like technique is so important for dunking, and now it's fixed again. So, and I can think of so many dunks like that where I focus way too hard on everything but doing the dunk itself, you know?
Yeah.
But
And something I
yeah.
actually do want to add to this, and that I want to tell like every dunker that I can, or just make a video about it and fully explain it to the best of my ability, because I have seen this work time and time again. People have been in my DMs asking, like, hey, what could I do different to, jump higher or make this dunk? And they would send me videos. And so many people don't do this. And I think if somebody like Isaiah did it more in his dunks, it would be just disgusting watching him dunk. And it is literally just arm swing and over exaggerating it. Did you say something?
Oh no, someone's in my room. They just
Oh,
left though. I just had to say something real quick to
oh,
him. I heard you
gotcha.
though.
But yeah, it's like over exaggerating your arm swing. And I mean, like really over exaggerating it, because Isaiah and John talk about an arm swing. A lot of people talk about arm swings, but a lot of the videos that people send me, they will go for their dunk. They'll take their last two steps and they'll swing their arms up immediately.
Hmm.
And they'll be like maybe this far off of the ground and their arms are already back down. So they're not allowing themselves to propel upward as much as they possibly could if they swing those arms up and they wait until they're like maybe right here to swing the arms down and work on the
Hmm.
technique. if you guys watch my dunks, I try and do it on every single dunk, especially my cuffed windmills or my cuffed dunks in general. I think you can see it the most on my cuffed left hand windmills, where I just throw my arms up and I hold them in the air as long as I can,
Getting that
and
max
then
jump.
yes, and then automatically just bring it down and start working on the technique. Now, if you do start doing that, that means your technique is going to have to be more on point, because I can't do that on every single dunk. Like if I try to do that with a like an East Bay, I'm probably going to have a hard time doing it because I don't have the technique for it. But if you
Mm-hmm.
can get to the point where you're practicing that and you're doing it more consistently with your dunks, I promise you will jump higher, because people have sent me videos and I'll tell them to do it. And they'll message me like a week later with a video of them doing it. And you can visibly see the difference of their arm swing,
Mm-hmm.
and they're making a dunk. And it's just one thing that I feel like people don't talk about enough in the way I'm talking about it. Because like I said, people talk about an arm swing, but they're not as specific as what I'm saying by over exaggerate the hell out of it. Like just
Mm-hmm.
throw those arms up and allow the momentum to keep going. Because as soon as you bring them down, you disrupt that upwards momentum. You disrupt it as soon as you bring the arms down. So it's one thing that I want everybody to really understand. And Isaiah has done it on some of his dunks, but I really and truly feel like if he took the time to just over exaggerate it on a lot of his jumps, he would have his freaking belly button to the rim. Like it's insane.
Yeah. No, I completely agree because I had a similar experience one time with the same dunk that you were talking about, cuffed windmill. For the longest time, my cuff windmills were just like super mid. Like I would not get a full arm swing and I'd make it and I would get somewhat high, but it wasn't like as good as it could be. And then one session, I literally just almost did like a delayed cuff windmill. I got a full arm swing, and then I did it. By far my best cuff windmill
Dude.
ever. Probably to this day, it was my best cuff windmill ever. Like it was a night and day difference.
Yeah.
No, yeah, utilizing as much arm swing as possible in a lot of dunks is definitely beneficial. There's some dunks where like there's some dunks where you have to find the happy medium for sure. Like on
Yeah.
some dunks, like my 360 behind the back, if I focus too much on the arm swing there, I don't have enough hang time to do the dunk and then make it. So on that one, I have to like pump up just not quite as high, so I can
Yeah.
focus on doing the dunk a little faster. But yeah, for a lot of dunks, like definitely getting more arm swing is going to be so much more beneficial, and it's just going to make them look better. Like
Oh, 100%.
I wish I had time to pull up my cuff windmill, but I don't know how to do that on here. Not gonna lie, but
Yeah.
literally it looks so much better. I punched it so much better than all the ones I did before I fixed it. So no, I completely agree.
Yeah, because a lot of people will think a full arm swing is just your arms kind of coming right here and then you swing them back. But I'm telling you, if you get the full on,
Mm-hmm.
it's, and I think I don't know his actual name, but IB Court.
Yeah, yeah.
So when he does his height checks, he does that arm swing where his arms go all the
Mm-hmm.
way up and then he kind of like flails them around. But
Mm-hmm.
that's just like one of the most perfect examples I can give for just over exaggerating that arm swing. And he'll get his whole head above the rim on some of the videos I've seen.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, that would be my tip if you guys are dunkers trying to get better, or you're trying to get your first dunk, all of that. Especially if you're trying to get your first dunk and you get somebody to throw you a lob, you have the most perfect um I guess attempt to do that, to get the full arm swing to allow you to jump higher and get that first dunk.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so if anybody's watching and hasn't got the first dunk and you try this and you get your first dunk, please let me know, because that'd be awesome.
That would be awesome.
Um, but yeah, I don't know if you have anything else.
The last thing I want to say is I apologize for not fixing my lighting sooner. Dude, the whole first part of the podcast looked like I was in a cave. You could barely see me. I have a laptop, I have two computer screens, I have my phone shining light on me, and a Christmas tree putting light on my face. But I didn't think about putting light in the back of my room.
Just,
So I finally fixed it at like the final part of the podcast. So
I think it's
but yeah,
fine.
that's about it. But yeah, that's all I had.
All right. Well, like I said, guys, this is going to be the first episode. I don't know who we're going to have on the next one. I got to send some DMs, see who I can get on here. I'm going to try and post this at least once a week. You guys know that I'm not very to my word when I say when I'm going to post. But on top of that, my dunk sessions should be posted every Monday at 5:30. Like I have one that's coming out today because today's Monday the 13th. It should be coming out at 5:30. You guys won't see this video until the session's already uploaded. So this information doesn't really matter right now. But anyway, just be looking forward to these podcasts and my dunk sessions more consistently on consistent days. And if you guys are interested in this type of thing, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell so you guys know when I upload them. Other than that, that's basically the end of the video, guys. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. All right.